Welcome to Storybound. Let's dive into Later. This video will be spoiler free. Later is a novel by Stephen King released in March 2021. It follows the son of a struggling single mother, Jamie Conklin, who just wants to have a normal childhood. However, in classic Stephen King fashion, Jamie is no ordinary child. Jamie is born with unnatural abilities, which put him into situations throughout the novel that are sometimes to his benefit, but mostly to his disadvantage. This novel is primarily a character piece, and I feel the horror takes a backseat, even though we experience this novel from Jamie's perspective, and he occasionally does remind us that this is a horror story. Well, I certainly agree that it is from his perspective. However, for this particular outing of Stephen King, it's fairly light on horror. But where it lacks in horror, it has character in spades. I felt like I got a slice of life story with supernatural elements sprinkled in, something more akin to what you would get from like a one-off anime or a manga story or an indie film. Speaking of films, I feel like an adaptation of this would work really well on a streaming service. There's a particularly awkward hug I would love to see on screen. The core premise of Later could be considered a spoiler, but it is noted in the intro novel as well. Later is used as a literary device within the novel to kind of varying levels of success. I really enjoyed how it was used and found myself laughing in a particular spot of the novel where it wasn't used. If you were expecting a big payoff at some point of how it was used, there really isn't one. I do feel it's worth mentioning, although this novel hits some really solid narrative beats, some people may be put off by the ending a tad bit. I wasn't overly off-put because I've read a decent amount of Stephen King and pretty much anything is fair game in his novels. However, there's a pretty strong climax, which is what you'd expect in most novels, but the final revelation seems to be what put people off in the novel, from what I can tell from the conversations online. However, if you have an open mind, I think it's a really solid read. I really enjoyed the focused story on character. We get 3 or so primary characters and a few side characters that we see Jamie interact with from time to time. Once again, Stephen King delivers on characters in spades. However, where the ending didn't blow me away, I do see why it may be off-putting for some. If you're a fan of Stephen King, I highly recommend this novel. It was a really fun read and has some pretty amazing character development in what is a fairly short outing by Stephen King standards. This has been a quick dive into Later by Stephen King. I plan on putting a video out for The Blade Itself Part 1 by Joe Anaconda, or Abercrombie as some people say on Reddit. The next novel I'm digging into is called Stormblood. It's book 1 of The Common by Jeremy Saul. It's basically like BioArmor Super Soldier sci-fi war epic. From what I know about it, I was actually asking on Twitter a few days ago for a novel like this and saw this one the other day in a post by Nick Borelli at Nick Reviews. I'll post his link down below. I can't wait to check it out. Thanks again for watching Storybound. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below with your thoughts on Later by Stephen King or anything else you'd like to see on the channel. And as always, have a good one.